Okay, so I'm gonna do my best to keep this under 5 minutes. So this is what the normal game state looks like. You have 3 lives, and it goes down, and then each brick has a random score. It's completely random. It's not based on color, but the color is consistent until the first four, and I'll explain that in the code right now. Oh yeah, when you get a game over, it just restarts. And I'll show what it looks like when it wins by just controlling how many are spawned, which is controlled by this width and height, which control how many spawn on the X and Y. And there you go. That's what it looks like. And then it'll keep your score for the next one rather than restart it. And then keep going. When you lose, though, as you may have noticed, the stats reset completely. I'm just going to change that back for now. Okay. So I'm going to go over the code now. Oh, yeah. And I've only created one brick prefab. I'm kind of using it as a template. And I'll explain that right now. I hope that isn't too big of a deal. I tried to follow it as much as possible, but I found a really effective way, in my opinion, that works out really well. I'm going to go over the new things I added, like the win and lose condition. So right here, every time the ball collides with a brick or every time the ball collides with an object that has a brick tag, it checks, it notifies brick was destroyed and gets its score right here, as you can see, and it should add it to that. That's a function that'll add score to it, which is why it takes in score. It'll add score to the text and the int value that stores it. And then it'll destroy it. Subtract the value in game manager and int value by 1 when it's destroyed, and then after all that we check if there's any left by checking bricks left, which correlates to a list in game manager as well, I'm pretty sure. If there is none, if it's 0 or less, then we can run the if statement that'll pretty much restart the game state, but it'll keep your current lives and score value. And right here it'll just do what it's been doing. It'll kind of refresh all the bricks because I noticed I had issues with the list and how it wasn't completely getting refreshed. It cleared the list after destroying all the game objects, even though they're all pretty much already destroyed. Let's see. And then reset the ball, wait for 2 seconds right here before that. Get rid of the game over text. And then, yeah, we reset all the values pretty much. Not all of them, but over here we do completely. For game over, you lost right here. So total player score 0, and then reset the ball, and then it runs the start, which is something really cool that I didn't even think you could do. Ran the start function of game manager in order to do this stuff, because it kind of already starts the game up. It resets the player count, spawns bricks with this function that I'm going to go over, and bricks left is getting the amount of brick prefabs in this list that I have. And that's pretty much everything new. Oh yeah, and there is a sound effect that's being added for on collision enter right here, as you may have noticed. Okay, so game manager. Let's see. Game manager, biggest thing is this probably. Color index. Every time this for loop finishes once, including the nested for loop, it'll increase by 1 at the very bottom down here. And then that determines this value. So when it's yellow, orange, it'll pick from these. So yellow, orange, etc., right here. And then once we get past the fourth one, it'll just be random beyond that. You may have noticed that earlier. First 5 are always the same, I'm pretty sure. The rest are random. Right here is stored in a game object as a child. And it's going to be its parent right there. And then this is basically like just having really consistent distance on the X and the Y. So I just use this value, and every time an iteration happens, I set it to 0, right? Because I'm always going to use it. But no, I set it to 0 because this stores how many we've gone over. This stores like how many times it's gone up. Let's see where that is. Yeah, right here. So I can make that whatever I want, and it'll increase it by that amount every time. And it'll just keep adding to this like over and over and over again until the loop finishes. It'll become 0 once this for loop finishes. So if it's 4 right here, then it'll do 4 times, and it'll set to 0, and then increase the y by 1. Yeah, that's how it works. Lost my train of thought there, my apologies. But that's pretty much everything. Player doesn't have much things that are new, pretty much the same as I left it. Break just throws a score. And yeah, I'm using these two functions to subtract. That's pretty much it. I hope I reviewed this somewhat well, but yeah, that's everything. try to keep this under 5 minutes. Thank you.